Welcome. Just setting up a little bit thing, guys. Today we're playing A Little Lily Princess, brought to me by the amazing people at Ratalaika Games, ratalikagames.com. Okay, guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitch. Hit that love heart icon on Twitch and give me a follow. And if you're watching it back on my YouTube channel, please feel free to hit that sub button. I do appreciate it all, guys. So don't forget the follow and the sub. Really do appreciate it. So, A Little Lily Princess, it's just been sent to me this morning by Ratalaika Games to stream for everyone on my Twitch channel. And later on, it'll be uploaded to my YouTube channel for everyone to watch as well. Let me tell you what it's about real quick. In British-controlled India, Sarah Crew was raised like a princess, always given the best of everything. Now that she is old enough, she must be sent away to boarding school in a foreign land, relying on her love of books and fairy tales to help her make friends. But not all smiles can be trusted, and fortune can turn cold and hard at any moment. What would you happen to a little princess if she lost everything? Choose activities to build Sarah's resources and change the direction of the story. Which girl will she form the strongest emotional bond with? The game features a visual novel inspired by a classical literature, a Victorian period setting with beautiful art and music, life simulation and resource management, multiple girls to befriend and romance. 6 possible endings. The release date of this game is May 28, 2021. So a couple of days from now, guys. It's an adventure, a simulation, and a visual novel. The publisher is once again the amazing Ratalaika Games, and the developer is Hanaku Games. It's available for the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, the PS5, the Xbox One, and the Xbox Series S and X. For those who are playing at home, I am playing it today on the Xbox Series X. Let's just get into the game right now. Let's have a look at this preferences real quick. There's never anything here, so we'll start the game up. Okay, just adjusting the headset real quick, guys. It was spring when Sarah's school life began, but spring in London was nothing like the spring she had known before. The morning sun was not enough to lift a chill from the stony streets, and the mist of the river blended with the smoke of the countless chimneys to form the thick yellow fog. In such weather, the lamp shades burned night and day, flickering like stars, and they guided the horse-drawn ships to their destination. But the ship that had carried her across the ocean was now a thing of the past. Here, then, was Sarah's new home. It was a big, dull brick house, exactly like the others in the row, except that on the front door there was a stone of brass plate with engraved in black letters. Miss Minchin's Select Cemetery for Young Ladies. Girls, gather around, if you please. Come, hurry up. We have our new pupil here who is joining us starting today. Her name is Sarah Crew, and she has only recently arrived in England, so you must all make her feel welcome. How do you do? The room filled with a chorus of gently muffled greetings. Sarah Crew, for that was her name, looked up upon the garden of strangers. Every face was turned to her, polite and attentive, and perfectly foreign. She felt more lost than she ever been at sea. Sarah, dear, as you can see, we have the pupils here from all over levels, but these 3 are particularly near your age. This is Miss Lavinia Herbert. Charmed. Miss Ermengardi Street John. And Miss Jessie Abbott. Well, very nice to thank you. I am very pleased to meet you all. Well, I have never known very many girls my age, nor any other age. Sarah's life began the point that had not been isolated, but sheltered. Her mother had died when she was born, leaving Sarah to be raised by her young, handsome father, who was only a relation she had ever known. Some fathers had little time for her children, but Sarah and her papa had always been quite close, reading books and playing games together every day. He treated her as a little confidant, and sharing his thoughts with her as she was a peer and not a very young girl, and listened solemnly to the advice she gave him in return, though he didn't always follow it. Sarah had never felt lonely, but it must be said that she has very little experience in making new friends. Sarah's father, Captain Crew, makes his home in India, and he's returning there as we speak. I shall expect you all to be very agreeable to her. Now, Sarah, take your seat. Your father has informed me how very much you enjoy your studies, and I expect you to be a credit in his establishment. I am certain how to become a credit, but I do wish to learn. The cinema were met with a muffled giggles. Confused, Sarah looked back at Miss Mitchin and for guidance. Take your seat, I said. But which seat is mine? Concerned that she would look I don't know that word. Concerned that she would look disobedient. She hesitated for further. She slid into the nearest empty place. No one objected, and she let out a sigh of relief. Nearby, two girls turned to whisper to each other. What a way she has speaking, so old-fashioned. Hush! And her eyes are such a cream colour, a funny-looking child to be sure. Well, she isn't pretty as other people are, but there is something about her. She makes you want to look at her again to see what it is. And she has a tremendous long eyelashes. Only will you notice such a thing. Girls! Kindly pay attention to her lessons. Yes, Miss Mitchin. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Not too sure, guys. Okay, so now we're getting into like, I don't know what we're getting into here. Okay, so, play with toys, go for a walk. Monday we'll go for a walk on Mondays. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm trying to get up to read a book there. Go for writing diary, tea party, and we'll practice dance. I think that's it. Okay, we're walking. Reading. Writing. Visiting. And dancing. Okay, so that's all my stuff. My room, my 2 rooms just for me. Sarah was always known as a parlor boarder, where the other girls were quarantined to the standard issue single room. She had a large bedroom, uniquely decorated, and a separate sitting room for a comfortable sofa. My papa has filled them with beautiful things: books, velvet cushions, lace dresses, and porcelain tea set. Hats with great feathers, the bob on them, even a Tagi rug to remind me of India. It looks like a room that would belong to the daughter of a Raji, an Indian princess. I only wish that this room also contained my papa. Perhaps it does. He gave me all the things, and whenever I touch them, I can imagine that it was with me. And when I read the farewell letter, I can hear his voice. My dear little missus, so here you are in the place you have always known you must go. But be of good cheer. You will not have to stay for a very long time. There will be a lot of little girls, and you will play together. I will send you plenty of books, and you will grow as fast as that will seem scary a year before you are being enough and clever enough to come back and take care of Papa. I am not the least anxious about your education. You're always sitting with your little nose burrowed in the books, groveling up in a little wolf instead of a little girl. I have instructed Miss Mitchin to drag you away from the books when you read too much, and make you go and ride your pony in a row, or buy a new doll. You ought to play with some more dolls. Dolls. Oh, Papa, if I bought a new doll every day, I should have too many to be able to make friends with them all. I'm the happiest with just Emily, and happier because I've always been with you and met her. Emily, of course, was the name of the doll, a very special doll that Sarah had discovered when her papa took her to visit a premier toy shop of London. She was a large doll, but not too large to carry around easily. She had naturally curling golden brown hair, which hung like a mantle around her, and her eyes were deep, clear grey-blue with soft, thick eyelashes, which were real eyelashes, not mere painted lines. At Sarah's instance, she had also been given a wardrobe every bit of grand as Sarah's own, with frocks and coats of nightingales and beautiful lace trim underlinings. And the thing, sorry. She even had her own tiny little handkerchief and her own cradle bed at the foot of Sarah's. Sarah lifted Emily up into her lap and smiled at her, just as she would another little girl. My papa is at the sea now, Emily. We must be very great friends to each other, intimate friends, and tell each other things. Hey, Jericho, welcome to the stream, buddy. Sorry I didn't see you. Thank you for the host. Thank you. Hostess with emotions. Yeah, she gets it's a visual novel, buddy. Look at me, Emily. You had the nicest eyes I've ever saw, but I wish you could speak. She brushed Emily's hair fondly, setting her pride of space. There are so many girls in this school. I have never seen so many children in one place before. I'm afraid I shall not even remember all of their names. I have always known that someday I would be required to go away, to leave my home and my papa, and come to England to be educated. I must do my duty even if I do not like it. I dare say soldiers, even brave ones, don't really like going into battle, but they must do it anyway, and not cry and fuss, so I must. But, oh, it is so lonely. She could not know, of course, how her quiet sorrow must be misinterpreted by others. Miss Mitchell, the proprietor, had been lavish the preparations for Sarah's pretty little room and concluded that her was a child who had always been given her own way at the expense of others. Such a spoiled little girl might expect to be kicked and screamed and set the whole house in uproar, but abandoned by her only parent? That she did not suggest to Miss Smith that Sarah cared nothing at all for her papa, but only for her dresses and toys? Such was a thought that inspired sympathy in her heart of the newcomer. Just then came a sound at the door of Sarah's room. Sarah was not a girl easily given to fear or sentiment, but she had a healthy share of curiosity, and she went once to see what it was. What the hell is that? Outside sat a little girl, right off her bottom in the middle of her hole. A baby lump legs spread open the lace and peppercoats, asked her she had just toppled over, which in fact she had. Hello there, who might you be? Me Lottie. Her words were even making thought of fingers she had shoved into her mouth. Lottie. The fingers were withdrawn and wiped dry among the frills of her skirt. Lottie Lee. Sarah smiled. Here, then with a chance to meet that one person at a time instead of a crowd of strangers? Well then, I'm Sarah Crew, and now we are properly introduced. She had held out her hand and helped the little girl to her feet. Was there something you wanted? May I look at your doll? Oh, of course. You may come and visit my room and we can have a tea together. My papa left me with beautiful tea with my little painted lines. Okay, guys, we just got a phone call. I'll be back in just a jiffy. We're just going to pause it up and I'll be back in just a jiffy, guys. Bear with me. Okay, guys, I'm back. I do apologize for the phone call. Let's save it up while we're here. We might as well. Okay, back into it. Emily has her own service as well, sized for her hand, and because she is too small to hold one of my cups. I want to see! Come inside then, and I will introduce you to Emily. And that was Sarah's first week of classes at Miss Mitchen's Select Seminary for young ladies. A bit of a tongue twister then, guys. Okay, so what we got here? Jesse, play event. Can't do anything, so we'll just do that. Not yet available. Skip this weekend. Let's play event. Let's play event. Hello, Sarah. May I come to visit? She's a spicy redhead, this one. Sarah rose to her feet at once. You are very welcome. Please come inside. Jessie stepped into the room and held out her skirt to drop a delicate courtesy in greeting. I know we have been introduced, but I wish to make your acquaintance more personal. And without listening in, Lavinia, I thought that you and her were the best friends. Of course we are. I adore her. She is so classic, so elegant and focused. I admire her very much. However, sometimes it is nicer to do things for oneself. And those real silk stockings you're wearing? Sarah blinked, caught unawares by the chance of a topic. Yes, I have several pairs. My papa took me to many shops while we were here in London. They're darling. Mine are only listen cotton. May I see the pattern? Sarah sat down in her comfortable armchair, lifting the hem of her skirt slightly. Where's this going? So that the floral embroidered over her ankles was visible. What little feet you have! I never saw such little feet. she's the Little Red Riding Hood. Are they small? She raised her leg a bit, pointing her toes and moving her foot this way and that. They seem the same size as they have always been, even though I know they must be smaller than when I was younger. I am sure that Lottie's feet are smaller than mine, and Emily's, of course, are smallest of all. Emily? Emily is a doll that my papa brought me to my companion. Sarah stood up and lifted Emily into her arms for Jessie to admire. Emily, this is Jessie Abbott, my new friend. The older girl dropped a beautiful curtsy, then laughed. Oh, she licks stockings too. Stockings for such teeny tiny feet. How cute. But do you have small feet for your height, Sarah? I'm sure you do. Look at mine. Jessie pressed her foot up alongside Sarah's for comparison. I just don't know whether larger or small feet are better. For dancing, I mean. If you dance with a partner, small feet would be better to avoid being stepped on. And they look very stylish in slippers. Slippers are cuter than they are smaller. But larger feet might be better for holding positions and standing on your toes. Small feet may not be as strong. You have feet of good shape though. They are archwell. They are very pretty. Can feet be pretty? Colonel Grain's little daughter, Isabel, in India, was the prettiest girl I've ever knew. All the gentlemen said that she was the beautiful of the regiment. She had dimples and a round, rose-colored cheeks, pale blue eyes, and long curling hair, and colored of gold, and everyone said that those things were very pretty. No one ever spoke of her feet. I suppose if her feet can be pretty, then perhaps I do have pretty feet. I know the rest of me is not. My hair is too black, and I'm straight and short. I am too thin, and my eyes are a strange color. You do have the same kind of beauty that the dolls are made of, but that it doesn't mean that they're not pretty. I think you are quite interesting to look at. Sarah did not wish to contradict her new friend, but had no reason to lie. But her inner conviction that she was an ugly little girl could not be so easily dispelled. Will you show me the rest of your dolls and clothes? Do you all have petticoats? Have all silver lace frills? Do you think all of them would fit me? I don't know. I suppose we can find out. A new week. Once again, guys, this game's brought to you by the amazing people at Ratalaika Games. RatalaikaGames.com. Check them out, guys. It's due for release on the 28th of May, so a couple of days from now. And if you like what you see, guys, please feel free to give me a follow on Twitch, and if you're watching it back on my YouTube channel, please feel free to give me a sub on that, and also come visit me over on the Twitch. Over on the Twitch, guys, come visit me. On Sunday morning, the students gathered in the entrance hall of Miss Mitchell's select seminary. Gals, are you ready? Form up the line behind Lavender. Sarah, dear, it is our custom to walk to and from church every Sunday when the weather permits that allows the horses a day of rest and ensures that the students receive regular exercise. It is important to look your best when we are walking out among the public. We want our school to always leave a good impression. You should follow Lavender's cues. She will show you what to do. Lavender is always a model student. As in hearing her name, Lavender smiled and nodded her head. You can learn a great deal from Lavender. Dear, as her father is also posted to India, the two of you should have much in common. Will always make close friends. Now, go and stand in line behind her. Sarah made her way to the front of the line, with Jessie and Lavender stood close together. What are you doing? Go to the back. Miss Mitchell told me to stand behind you. She said you were a model. Oh, very well then. But this is my place. You wouldn't want to obey Mrs. Mitchell, would you? No. We have to show our new girl how to behave herself in church. She may never have seen one before. Sarah thought it was the wisest of rare minds, silent. Okay, select one activity each. Can we change things up, you reckon? Well, I like it as it is. We'll just leave it as it is, but we might change it up next time. Let's see where it gets me anyway. My knowledge is 2. That's 1. I think it's 1, yeah. 3, 6 is sympathy 6. Great. 2, 3, and 3. I'll change it up next time. We'll just change it just a little bit. Maybe we'll do some more reading. I don't know. Oh, I think it seems to be going okay, I guess. It just all gave me a... Yeah, I'm quite happy. A knock came at the door. Sarah dear. Yes, is there? Oh, hello. Bonjour, mademoiselle. I can't pronounce that last bit. Mademoiselle, I don't know. Miss Mitchell hissed her through her teeth, and the young woman in the maid's uniform fell silent. Sir, before I left, your father arranged for a maid to be employed especially for your needs. She is just arrived. I believe she is from France. Yes? Her name is Marinette. I don't know. I'll call her Marinette. And she will be living in your rooms, helping you with your clothing in the morning and everything else you require. Please use her as your listener. With your staff, if you need a food, send your maid rather than speaking to the cook directly. And don't let her fool you. She doesn't speak to Queen's tongue. She swept out of the room, leaving the maid and her little mistress blinking at each other in confusion. Bonjour, Malorette. G. Abil Apacella. Comment allez-vous? Très merci. I am pleased to see that you are just as your papa described you. Oh, what did he say? That no little girl is a Solomon as you, and that you would make me smile. But what would be being someone that makes someone smile? That is your genius assessi quale. It is you. Now, what do you know shall be around your rooms? Okay, so we can play an event or we can skip this week. We'll play an event with the French maid. I wish I had a French maid. Wow. Melanette, may I? It is all right if I ask you a few questions about yourself? Bonjour, mademoiselle. What do you wish to know? What is your family name? Miss Mitchell did not say. Damas mademoiselle. Oh, are you a relative of the great French writer, the author of the Three Musketeers? Mademoiselle chuckled kindly. No, Madame Miss Mitchell. Well, not to say close way. I am not. There are many ways in the names of Damas, and I cannot know what connections they are between all people. Do you know all of your cousins and and where bear the names of the crew? I don't know anyone else named crew except for myself and my papa. So, you see, I cannot say what a regiment might be at some distance. Sarah nodded. Where in France do you come from? I grew up in Ligamos. You may not have heard it as Ligamos box, the porcelain. A bubble just came out of my mouth. Sorry, guys. Sarah shook her head. Ah, well, there was a famous once. Perhaps there will be again. For now, like much of the Limos, they have been faded. What is it like there? Ah, what it is like anywhere? It is like a city, not so large as Paris or London. No. Is it near Paris? Non. Passage-Pushy. It is in the south. You must rely on the railways to travel between them. All trains lead to Paris. Or should we say all trains lead to Paris? Sarah tried to picture it. She did not know Ligamos, but it was in the south. Then it must be warm and green surely. She had been in paintings of France, stone houses, arches and bridges, rolling green hills, hanging vines, and sunlit, always sunlight. Not the fogs of London. It must be lovely. As you said, Mademoiselle. How did you come to speak that position? What I mean to say is my papa and I did not have any time to visit France, and I did not meet you until you came here. Did you not meet my papa somewhere else? None. We have never met in the flesh and blood. Your papa is a gentleman and knows many of our gentlemen in fine cities like Paris. But it has happened that we wish to report the maid. She wrote to the Paris gentleman to describe you. And I have a cousin who works for the Paris gentleman. And they thought of me, and so the arrangements were made. And I'm glad they were. Sarah smiled. The gentle warmth of Marinette's regarded with a compliment from a little girl, one who had been separated from her family and made the life of a faraway place. It was true that Marinette was, for the most part, a stranger like any other much scenery. There was just the beginning to know each other, and yet Marinette was simply a stranger who might come and go like the students. She was Sarah's maid, the beginnings of her very own household. She might, in time, be the closest thing to family. I wonder about the friend my papa has in Paris. Sorry guys. I wonder if she ever knew my mother. Just adjusting the headset, guys. Sorry about that. New week. Do we get to change things up? No, we don't. It was the beginning of another week in classes. The students were settled neatly in rows in the schoolroom. Miss Mitchin walked up and down between the desks, ensuring that each pupil's head was burrowed in a particular lesson. She paused beside Sarah, a book in her hand. Now, Sarah, as your papa has engaged a French maid for you, I concluded that she wishes you should make a special study of the French language. I think he engaged her because he thought I would like her, Miss Mitchin. I'm afraid that may not have been something of the sports, little girl, as in such, you always imagine that things are done because you are like them. It is your faulting, and one that you must endeavour to train away. My impression, Sarah, is that your papa wished for you to learn French. I never really learned to speak French, but that is quite enough. You have never learned, and you must begin at once. The French master, Monsieur Duforge, will be here in a few minutes. Take this book and look at it until he arrives. Dull-faced Sarah stared at the illustrated pages in front of her. Le palais, le father, la pensée, la mother. You look rather cross, Sarah. I am sorry you do not like the idea of learning French. I am very fond of it, but... You must not say but. You are told to do things. Giggle, giggle, giggle. Redhead's all spiced up. Miss Abbott, young ladies, you should take dreadful sniggering noises like a horse. Yes, Miss Mitchin. Sarah, look at your book again. Yes, Miss Mitchin. Listen for the son, listen for the brother, oh dear. Shortly after, Monsieur Dufonge arrived in the classroom. The French master was an elderly gentleman with a neatly trimmed moustache and beard, and a hair that flew outwards in a dramatic points. His eyes lit up when he caught a sight of unfamiliar little girl puzzling over the French phrases. Ah, it is a new pupil for me, madame. Her papa, Captain Crew, is very anxious that you would begin the language, but I'm afraid that she is a child produced against it. She does not seem to wish to learn. I am very sorry to hear that, mademoiselle. Perhaps, when we begin to study together, I may show you that it is a charming tongue. Little Sarah rose in her seat. She began feeling rather desperate. S'il vous plaît, monsieur dit non pour l'axe, il ne me fait condamner. She began to explain quite simply to her pretty and fluent French. Madame had not understood, but she had not learned French exactly out of the books, but her papa and other people had always spoken to her, and she had read it and written it as she had read and written English. Her papa loved it, and she loved it because he did. Her dear mama, who had died when she was born, had been French. What on earth was that saying? Is that some sort of joke? Ah, madame, there is no such I can teach her. She has not learned French. She is French. Her accent is Swedish. You ought to have been told me. I tried. I suppose I did not begin right. More giggles. Miss Merchant slammed her hand upon the desk. Silence, young lady! Silence at once! And though the other students stood settled back in the proper classroom behavior, Miss Merchant's lips remained tightly pressed together, whether she looked at Sarah. Okay, let's change some things up. We'll play with some toys. I'm gonna write in diary here, read a book here, practice dance here, and go for a walk here. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll leave at the tea party this week. See where that gets us. If the French language felt naturally for Sarah's lips, then her other lips wherefrom there seemed to be not escape at all, no matter how long her owner stared at her workbook. Le père, the father, no la mère, the mother. To Emmergade, it had seemed lost unbelievable that a girl of her own age could string together so many words of French as if it were mere trifles. Dismayed at her own failings, she was devoted more effortly than usual to her trial of understanding her lessons. Her eyebrows rested on her desk, her hands under her chin. She was so repeated that a broken syllables under her breath. She started to hear so hard that a bit of ribbon of her pigtail so fast that her attracted the attention of Miss Mitchin, who, feeling extremely cross at the moment, immediately pounced upon her. Mr. John, what is the meaning of such conduct? I what? Remove your elbows. Did I say eyebrows before? It's elbows. So, take your ribbons out and mouth. Sit at once. Yes, Miss Pigeon. More giggles. Matters did not improve for Miss St. John, with the French master himself arrived. Good bread lungs. Bong bang. Kindly through her words, Miss Monsieur Dauphinge could not help but smile at her pronunciation. That is not quite correct. Ezol bon pain. Long bong pang. Girls, conduct yourself. It isn't funny, really. They ought not to laugh. Poor thing. It was of her ways that always went to spring in the way fray which someone had made uncomfortable or unhappy. However, there was no way for a hero to defend or rescue Emmergade from the horrors of education, at least not until the lesson period had concluded. Okay, so we can play another event. We're going to skip this. I can't skip it. No event. I can. We'll skip this week. I'm going to skip it. A new week. Did you see that darling little blue-eyed, blue and yellow bird on the back of the church? It was only blue tint. That was honestly common. Hopelessly common. I hadn't seen one before. They're the country birds. They're like trees. You don't see them much in London. There must be many more birds in the country. Are there all birds in England that are blue all over? I don't think so. And the blue birds in India? Well, there are some birds with bright blue feathers, but not all over. And some birds have a blue all over, but only a little bit of blue. I thought that perhaps in England I might find the bluebird of happiness. What is that? I shall tell you. All of you, come on to my room and we shall have a tea party. A tea delivered. You shouldn't give orders to the cook. It's not proper for a young lady to go into the kitchens. Oh, I won't be. My maid, Malloret, will fetch the tea for us. You have your own personal maid to bring you tea? Yes, my father arranged for one to come for me to France. Come and say hello. Oh, she's pissed. Sarah and her entourage greeted at the door. Oh, my, so many visitors. It is all right. You, please bring me tea for my guests, Malloret. Oh, what the mercy. Malloret went out to the kitchen to carry off the little mistress elders. The head cook of Miss Mitchell's select assembly looked up at Malloret's approach, her face a pinch as her dough. Here, now, what is this then? Afternoon tea for 4. Oh, is that all? I expect she'd be wanting fresh cakes too. Never mind, haven't any made. None that our biscuits are ready. Never seen the stuff of one of those girls for wanting more. Quick as you please. Is that so with some, but not with my mistress? Alors donc, princesse, c'est la petite. She thanks me for my work just as if she was thinking a grand lady. Humph, given herself as your being. You wish still, I am very pleased with my place. Now, the tea. Okay, so let's, I'm gonna have artistry's only 3. We're gonna do that to get, I'm gonna practice dance there. I reckon maybe artistry's the dance, maybe? Read a book here, practice dance here, tea party here, writing diary here. I'm gonna do double things. See how that gets me. So we're gonna artistry, we're gonna get that up to, it's only in 3. Try to get it up a bit more, see if it's, dance is what's gonna do it. Okay, let's have a look when it's finished. It's almost there. Well, that got that up. So dance is where it's at. That's not a bad combo, actually. Sympathy's 9. Might keep that next time as well. Right then, Sway. Dear Sarah, Lady Picton, you were absolutely charmed to meet you. Yes, Miss Mitchin. Where is she taking Sarah? Miss Mitchin is showing her off to another visitor parent. Or maybe a donor. I am sure I wouldn't know. Dear sir, must you come into the drawing room and talk to Miss Musgrave about India? Dear sir, must you speak French or Lady Pickin? Her accent is so perfect. She didn't learn her French at the seminary, that's for certain. And there's nothing so clever in knowing it. She says herself she didn't even learn it at all. She must pick it up, because she always heard her papa speak it. It is simply disgusting that the way Miss Mitchell trots her out of the ornament. I can't imagine being so good at anything that Miss Mitchell would want to show me off, especially French. Sarah is always imagining she will no doubt grow up to be an athlete. There is one thing about her, though. She never grand about herself the least bit, even though she as easily might be. I believe I couldn't help being proud, just a little, if I had so many fine things I was made such a fuss over. A little? It is Miss Mitchell's brought you up in a curse of my mayor's wife? You would purr, just like a tyrant. Oh, Lever, don't be silly. Being a cat might be even nicer than being able to speak French. There's no way to... Oh, sorry, guys. There's no use wanting her, Sarah. She'll be at her tea for hours. I'm sure. We may as well go on our way. Okay, so we can play event. What should we play the event? Okay, so sympathy's there. What do we need to do? What do we need to do? This is knowledge will get me 3. Patience. I believe there's no artistry. Vulgar, nothing there. Let's just play event of that one. That afternoon, Jessie came to Sarah's room for tea. The tea itself, though, seemed to hold little interest for her. I was hoping you could tell me more about your life in India. It sounds very interesting and different to me. I'm only learning the ways that were different for me being here. My papa and I lived in a bungalow that was large at the school. As large as the school, but wide rather than tall. There was a vendor that could sit in the breeze and watch the sunset. Hey, the Indian music going on now. India! The summers are so hot that many children of the British parents become ill. So we are taken away to the hill stations, which are towns on the mountains and near lakes where it is cooler. I had many toys and pets servants that would salam and to make me call Mrs. Sahib. I suppose that is because they are rich, but it is all life that we knew. Did you ride elephants and antelopes and tigers? I had never seen a cantaloupe. There are elephants in India, of course, but they are mostly used to carry heavy equipment. Oh, for those Rajas to ride in parade. I have seen them, but I have never ridden one. And tigers are too dangerous to see up close. Anyone who tried to ride one would be clawed and eaten. They attack villages sometimes and carry off the naive children. You know, it's terrible. Once, even packed up the outpost my papa was stationed at, and he had to shoot to defend the citizens. How exciting! He is very brave. I miss him, so I hope he does not do anything too brave while I am not there to look after him. What is it very frightening traveling so far? No, there are many other people on the ship with us. It was strange and not so comfortable at this room, but I did not feel dangerous. It would have been much harder if my papa were not with me. When young boys are sent back to England, they are sometimes made to travel with their regiments and no family at all. Regiments, sorry. A pleasant companion that makes a great deal of difference. You should always have one. Jessie pressed her hands together in her lap, the motion giving a shy lift to her shoulders. I would very much like to travel the world where I am older, but I don't know if I would ever have the chance. Do you think you will travel, Sarah? Well, I don't know whether to return to India as soon as I am old enough, and I think I should like to visit France someday. I haven't thought of it beyond that. It is a very big world. I suppose it would be the same to live one's entire life in only a small part of it. Jessie gently squirted a liquid inside her teacup. Her eyes locked on the little ripples of waves. Some people feel that London is the center of the world, and that once you're here, there is nowhere better in the world for you to go. Why would you want more than perfection? I am sure London is very nice, but... The cup trembled in Jessie's hands. Oh, I'm sorry, I spilled a bit of tea. How silly of me. Please, tell me more stories about India. All right. A new week, guys. That should have got me some points there. Stay together now, girls. Keep in line. And don't step in any puddles. Just become church. Because church is over, no excuse to soil your nice dresses. The air smells very different when it has rained. It smells like London. There are too many people and chimneys and horses. I keep lavender sachets in my room so I can smell the gardens even when I'm away from home. They're not much, for my aunt Isa sent me the flowers. I stitched them myself. We have lavender in India too. Oh, but isn't lavender an English flower? I thought everything in India would be saffron and spices. Perhaps the British soldiers brought lavender with them so they could smell the gardens too. Do you think the soldiers could be homesick? Of course, soldiers must be very brave and bear all sorts of dangers and hardships, but that doesn't mean they don't have feelings. And must we be brave too, even though we're far from homes and to the people that we love? A carriage passed alongside Miss Mitchell's students as they walked, seemingly packed with walls of children. 8 of them, siblings and all, and such giggles of massive blood curls and rosy cheeks as Sarah had ever seen before. They moved in infections, and Sarah found the smile had come unexpectedly to her face. As such, there came a slight shock the carriage moved along, and revealed a sight previously hidden on the other side of the street. A little beggar child in a heap of rags, too dirty for Sarah to tell that was a boy or a girl. Prickled by the sight, Sarah stepped out of line and carried her little coin purse to the child. Sarah, wait, where are you going? Here's a sixpence. Go and buy you something nice, something warm. She hurried back to the information, but not before her steps were noticed by Miss Mitchell. Sarah Crew, you must stay in line. You are no rushing off. You will put yourself at risk. I should not like to tell your father that you were struck down by a cab horse in the road. I only wish to... Your lesson is a virtue, but it is not wise to be safe come into close contact with the creatures of the streets. You must be careful to clean yourself thoroughly when you return to school. Yes, Miss Mitchell. Sarah looked back, but the bigger child had already disappeared from sight. How strange that one child should be hungry and dirty on the streets, while another rides in fine carriage and knows nothing but joy and laughter. And all of these things happen quite by accident, because of the way that we were born. Okay, let's... Week 5. Actually, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna play with toys there. Practice dance there. Read a book and go for a tea party. Changing things up. I have no idea what those icons mean. Books, I've getting game books, I'm thinking. I don't know what this like a... I don't know what some of the icons mean. Okay, so that means the books mean knowledge. Artistry means like a... I don't know what it is. Volga is the running man. I don't know, it looks like, kind of like a bird, but it's not. It's grace. Sympathy is hearts. And belief is a cross. Even from a distance, there was no mistaking Lottie's shrill little voice. I want a whole kitty! Oh, I want a whole kitty! Don't be ridiculous. Sarah came into the room of Phil Lavender and perched prominently at the window seat, looking down at the smaller child, whose lips were beginning to wobble. Diabetes in my lap, and there's a perfect contact there. Listen, you can hear him purr. That's because I'm stroking him, and he likes me. I want a whole kitty! Keep your sticky little fingers away from his fur. Lottie's brow furrowed in fierce determination. Ignoring Lavender's command, she reached out to pick up the cat. Lavender slapped Lottie's hand away. Then suddenly, movement jostled Tabit out of the comfortable doze. With a patent squeeze of his claws, he leapt from Lavender's legs and hurried out of the room. Now look what you've done! You little brat! He scratched me, and he's damaged my dress. It scratched you because you're me! You wouldn't even let me touch it! It isn't fair! It isn't! A cat is not a rag doll. You cannot snatch and tug it as please, or it will bite your hand. Is that too difficult for a child of 8 to understand? She cannot help being younger any more than we are help being older. If she is 8, she is 8, but she will be 9 then next year, and then 10 the year after that. And then in 12 years, she will be 20, and that is quite grand. Dear me, how can you calculate? I don't want to be 20! You will be when you are, and you won't be where you aren't. So there's no reason you won't be. Nor what? What do you want? That was confusing. No! Be quiet, or I shall slap your face. You mustn't. Lottie looked at Lavender's blazing eyes and ran out from the room, wailing at unfairness of it all. You ought not to be a baby her, Sarah. She must learn that she can't have everything her own way. Privately, Sarah thought that Lottie was not the only student at the school who might need to learn that lesson. Okay, so what's... Gonna skip the event. Okay. Would you like to sit in front of the mirror while I brush your hair, mademoiselle? Oh, I don't think so. Not by the mirror. You see, it's nice to sit and think while you run your brush through my hair. Sometimes I remember stories and I think of things I wanted to say to someone else. Other times, it helps me relax. It must be like that for Tibet, when someone is petting him. But if I am looking at the mirror, then Sarah in the mirror would be looking back at me, and that we should have to pay attention to each other, and also I might be thought impolite. Marinette laughed in the back of her throat. That is if you wish. I had thought of doing something different with your hair, and as you could see, that would be not more quickly. I thought you... Yes or no? I could have changed it if you do not like it. Well, I think it is better to look at it when it is finished. If you're not stopped reading a book in the middle, you might have the wrong idea of what it's all about. Then I will show you when I am done. Marinette is so kind, I would be terribly lonely if this room's without her. The school is full of other girls, but they are, like me, guests of Mittens. We live in the same house, but they are part of my household. Marinette is the only person who belongs to me. It is nice to sit and think while she brushes my hair. Actually, there's a better way with it my old Ajar did, but I do miss my papa so. If he were here, if he would come and visit me and some girls' parents too, how happy my life would be. I wonder where my papa is now. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak. No, it is good, Mademoiselle. You should speak your thoughts. Your father sailed many weeks ago, but now he is in India, yes? Home and safe, and thinking how different the house seems without your footsteps. Oh, I don't want to think him and sad and lonely. It is right that he misses you, and that he misses that. This is how things should be, but it does not mean your life is nothing the sadness, does it? No, I do not think I am muchly. I would not wish to be. I enjoy my books and my friends. So you see, your papa, will be lonely. So he will be lonely, but he will also feel other things. He will live his life, but he will also think of you. I believe you will hear him soon. Oh, I hope you're right. No, you must be right. My papa will write me letters. As soon as ships can carry them, I will treasure his words. And I do hope that my papa has a friend to care for him, as Malloret cares for me. Okay, let's change this up. Okay, we're going to go for a walk on a Monday. I'm going to write in a diary. Tea party there. Practice dance, and then practice dance twice. Got to practice those dancings. My patience is down to 3 still. Pardon me, guys, if you heard that. I burped. Internal burp. Internal combustion. While Sarah was walking through the school, she heard a great commotion coming from the nearby room. The first high-pitched shriek made her startle. Concerned that one of the young girls might have injured herself, Sarah was a quiet and solemn girl herself, but made no judgment against those whose temperaments led them to cry out loudly when they were in pain. However, the wailing went on and on, more angry and miserable, and the voice of the recognized Lutties. Sarah came closer and began to make out the accompaniment of frustrated adult that had burrowed down the child's tantrum. What are you crying for? There is nothing wrong with you. I haven't got my mama. Stop crying, for heaven's sakes. I haven't got my mama. You are to be whipped. You shall be whipped if you do not hush, you naughty child. Lottie wailed more louder than ever. Miss Mitchell engaged from the room, her hands pressed to her sides of her head, and paused when she saw Sarah lingering outside. Oh, dear Sarah! Miss Mitchell attempted at a producer of friendly smile was not all but convincing. Lottie's roars continued unbattled, and each burst of sound made Miss Mitchell's shoulders twitch. I stopped because I knew it was Lottie, and I thought just perhaps, I could make her be quiet. May I try, Miss Mitchell? If you can quiet that, you are a clever child. Dreadful thing. We may not be able to keep her. But if you're clever in everything, my dear, I dare say you can manage her. Go in. When Sarah entered the room, Lottie was lying up on the floor, screaming and kicking her small, fat legs violently. Sarah stood by a howling, ferocious child for a few moments and looked down at her without saying anything. Then sat down flat on the floor beside her and waited. Except for Lottie's angry screams, the room was quite quiet. There were a new state of affairs for Lottie, who accomplished the hearing other people's protests and implored their command of coax her of returns, to find that the only person near her did not seem to mind the least how she kicked and screamed was unusual, and made it necessary for her to pause her sobbing in order to see what was going on. She opened her tight, shut, streaming eyes to see that the person was, and found that it was another little girl, but it was the only one old Emily and the nicest things. Sarah looked at Lottie quite curiously, but said nothing. Lottie sucked up the gulp of air, but her nose she had been suffered rather half-hearted. I haven't my money, Mama! Neither have I. Lottie blinked rapidly and unexpected answer. Her legs and arms seized the kicking and lay flat against the floor. Where is your mama? She went to heaven, but I'm sure she comes out sometimes to see me, though I don't see her. So does yours, perhaps? They can both see us now, perhaps? They are both in this room. Here? Lottie sat up, bolt straight up and looked around. Seeing nothing, her face began to crunch up again. We can't see people who live in heaven, even when they come to visit us. They travel like the wind, our sunlight. You can only feel them in the moment if they touch you, and then they are gone. They can go anywhere in the instance, but most of the time they stay up above. Their land is full of lilies, fields of lilies, and with a soft wind that blows over them, it wafts the scent of them in the air. And everybody always breathes it, because the soft wind is always blowing, wind and sunlight and streets are always shining. And a little child running around the lily fields and gather armfuls of them and laugh and make little wreaths to wear on their hands and spin coats and dresses of soft lily petals. The petals never dry or brown, but when their children grow tired of them, they toss the petals into the air and they turn into the clouds. Lottie had now quite forgotten to cry and was leaning forward, hanging on every word that Sarah spoke. In the shining city, people were never tried. However far they were, they had afloat everywhere they like. And there are walls made of pearl and gold all around the city. They are low enough for the people to go and lean on, and they look down on the earth and smile. For those walls, sometimes they dance down to visit us. Other times they whisper beautiful messages into the air and hope that someday we will hear them. Oh, I want to go there. I haven't any mama here. Sarah saw the danger signal and took Lottie's hand with a coaxing little laugh. I will be your mama in the school. You will play that you are my little girl, and Emily shall be your sister. Shall she? Yes. Let us go and tell her, and then I will wash your face and brush your hair, and both of us shall have a little bit more family. Okay, so guys, we're going to no event again. And the new week. A new week. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to take a break. I'm going to save it up. There we go. We're going to overwrite that because we're done pretty good, I think. Oh, hold it. There we go. Week 7 we're up to. Week 7. Taking a break now, guys. Big shout out to Ratalaika Games, ratalaikagames.com. Check out their link in my chat window, guys. Just click on that link, it takes you to their website for all their wonderful games. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this game today. A Little Lily Princess, brought to me by Ratalaika Games. It's due for release on the 28th of May, so a couple of days from now, guys. It's available for the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X and S, the PS4 and the PS5. So if you liked what you see, guys, if you're into visual novels, please feel free to give me a follow on Twitch just by hitting that heart icon. And if you're watching this back later on my YouTube channel, please feel free to give me a sub on that. And come visit me on Twitch, guys. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this game. If you're into visual novels, it's not a bad one. If you're not into it, guys, then I'm sorry. Until next time, guys, take care of the ones you love. Don't forget to feed your pets. Thank you for all coming past. Hope you enjoyed the stream today, guys. And once again, thank you for watching. Bye for now, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.